check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
What is up? 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 Okay, what is up, Beyonce's Internet? My name is Kelvin West, and I make content for Black people. Thank you guys for joining me today. Today, I'm going to be talking just a little bit about the new article that came out in the Phoenix New Times, and I want to touch base on a couple of things, update you guys on some things that I've just kind of observed that's happening in my neighborhood, around my neck of the woods, and then I also want to give you guys, leave you guys with a lasting message about knowing the power of the N-word, and that is no. Okay, so I kind of want to start there. I kind of want to start with knowing the power of the N-word, and how this came to me was as follows, right? So as you guys have known, many of you guys have watched this, you guys have reached out, and thanks again. I continue to get people reaching out to me about everything that's going on, and it's honestly kind of amazing, just seeing all of you guys, how you're responding to this, and how you guys are supporting the things that I have to say. It's very interesting because, like I said, I make content for Black people, but the people that I've reached out the most have been the white people, right? Not to say that Black people haven't reached out. They most certainly have, but it's interesting to see that what I'm saying resonates with a lot of white people, a lot of white liberals, which is refreshing. It's refreshing. It's so refreshing. I had a wonderful conversation with just a dear friend of mine, and for her, out of respect for her, I'm not going to mention her names or too much of what we talked about, but she now lives in New York, and old school friend, and she is just she wasn't aware of anything that was going on here in Phoenix, but I was able to kind of share some things with her, and she gets it. She gets it. She gets it. She gets it. And it's like, and what she gets is that she doesn't get it, right? She goes, Kelvin, everything you're doing is absolutely amazing. And, she's a white woman, and she said that a lot of white people just aren't ready. All right. They're not ready to have these conversations, and it's uncomfortable. You're making people uncomfortable. And that just is what it is, right? That's what knowing versus no, and the truth hurting. That's what this is all about. The truth hurts, guys. The truth hurts, right? So, talking to a lot of white people about this, and how they're just like, they get it. They get it. And what they get is that they don't get it, right? They can't understand. They can't get there yet. Knowing that is very, very important. It's very, very important. It's what matters, right? You must know that you don't know. You have to start there. That's the whole part of looking within. So this is for white people, right? So this is for anybody. This is for anybody. This is for Black people and for white people. But in regards to white violence, you have to understand that you don't know. You don't know that you're being violent. You don't know that what you're doing is really none of your business. This is not your lane to play in. This is not your space. And yet you are occupying this space and strong arming this space, and you're not even aware of what you're doing. And that's a problem. That's significant. That's a shade of white violence, right? So knowing versus no. So in our lives, Black people, we have been, subjected to knowing that you're not beautiful, right? Knowing that you are Black and that you should stay in your place. Knowing that your voice isn't heard, right? Knowing that it's going to be difficult for you. It's going to be more difficult for you than it would be for somebody else. Those are the things that we know. We know these things as we grow up and as we become adults, right? From a very young age, we were born into the world, happy-go-lucky children, but then as we grow older, we have to wise up way sooner because we start to see these effects of white violence. We start to experience white violence at a very young age. I talked about this the other day about code switching, right? Children as young as 6 and 7 years old are already code switching within their schools as a survival mode. That's a huge thing. That's a huge thing that children of color, they have to deal with. White people will never, you will never understand what code switching is. We may tell you about it, you may read up about it, but until you've had to do it and actually had to do it to save your life, right? To keep a job, to not be kicked out of a space, right? Until you've had to actually code switch, you don't know. And so the reality is that your opinion, your perspective, your thoughts on the matter, they're irrelevant. They are. And I know that hurts, right? I know that's like, well, no, my opinion does matter. Well, it does in white spaces. It does. Your opinion does matter in white spaces. And when your opinion is requested, come on now, when your opinion is requested, it's welcomed in spaces of color. That's the part, and that's what I'm going to discuss today. Is people of color, black people, know that you can say no. Bottom line, you can say no. No, you don't owe anyone an explanation of who you are, what you're about, or access to your time. You don't owe anyone anything. That's going to be hard for a lot of closeted racists, as far as I'm concerned, to handle. It's going to be very difficult for them to handle. There's a lot of white people out there who still believe that black people should be educating them on racism. Guys, that's a real thing. We're going to discuss some of that today. Okay, so the power of knowing. Right? Knowing that you are beautiful, knowing that you are powerful, knowing that you can say no. You can, no, I don't owe you access to me. I can say no, right? Knowing that you are capable of speaking your truth and letting it be known. And knowing that you deserve to be heard. You deserve to be respected, right? You do. Now, you deserve all those things, but a lot of people aren't going to give you those things. You also need to know that. It's important that you know that. KNOW that, right? It's very important to know that while you deserve all those things, there are people out there who believe that you don't. And a lot of times those people are in your bubble. They're in your bubble. If you're arguing with white people, liberals, about their perspective on your life, know that they're not for you, and you can just say no, period. And no is a full sentence. Okay, so let's talk about it. Right, let's talk about it. I want to give you guys an update on this. So yesterday I made a post about just some observations that I made in my neighborhood. My neighborhood message board, where there was a gentleman by the name of Paul who just very aggressively and angrily made a post about the mural that was taken down by the artist, right? By the artist. I voiced my concerns about this mural. The artist made a decision to take it down. That's on her, right? That's absolutely on her. I have no I have no say in that. I also didn't have a say in what the mural was about. Right. I also wasn't included in that. So, it's interesting how this is all being talked about, because in that post that was made in the message board yesterday, this was all aimed at me, right? Aimed at me, Calvin. And again, this is all white men. It's angry white men and quite sorry to say it, truth hurts, angry white women. They're all having this discussion, right? They're all having this discussion about, freedom of speech, censorship, all these things. Never pointing out that the only people that have actually been censored is me. Is the black people, the people of color in the neighborhood. The only people that have been censored, that were not allowed to be a part of the actual expression, right? Never even invited to take part in how our story was going to be told. That's censorship, right? Because no inclusion. And then when we spoke up about it, completely ignoring it, that is a form of censorship, right? And then lastly, when I did speak up on it on these message board, onto these new threads that were created, my voice was out there. I champion. There's a beautiful woman by the name of Alicia. She's a white woman. I'm not going to say her last name out of respect to her, but Alicia in my neighborhood, she has been a champion. She's been an absolute champion in really kind of sticking up and making space. Making sure that the space was safe for Black people and people of color. And I shouted her out. I commented on that, and I observed that on one of these threads. It was deleted. It was deleted by a white man. Okay. Paul Mosier made a significant post yesterday, saying my name, doing all these things, speaking about it. There were people who were speaking up for my voice, right? The Black voice. They were out there championing change for and trying to make this space safe. That was deleted by Paul Mosier. But his complaint is censorship. Okay. That's interesting. That's quite interesting. There's another gentleman by the name of Frank that lives in my neighborhood who is an interesting person. Is a very interesting person. Very interesting person. Very passive aggressive. Very passive aggressive, and like has like intent in some of the things that he says. And he made a comment the other day about, first of all, calling me a complainer. And again, guys, we know it's funny because in these posts, these angry white men, they talk about courage and like the person, the asshole, the dipshit, referring to me, lacking courage, right? Lacking courage. Yet they're talking about me. They don't say my name. They know who I am, right? They've been known who I am. They don't come to me. They don't message me. They don't private message me and tell me their opinions. What do? They post it on these platforms where they know they're going to have other angry white men who are going to speak up on it, right? On them being angry, right? And on them being oppressed, right? I'm oppressed because white muralists can't paint Black trauma. Come on now. Are we awake? Are we awake? One of the things that was said yesterday, which I just found, I look at this stuff and I'm just like, man, guys, this neighborhood needs some healing. We need some significant healing and some significant, look within self. Trust me, I had to do the same. I really honestly did. I had to do the same. I had to look within self and realize that I can't control these people. These people are going to be racist. These people are going to make these comments, and they're not going to hear you, Kelvin. They're not going to listen because they don't care. And I had to make some change in how that affected me, right? So I had to make some change because I'm not going to sit here and deal with that, right? So there was a comment made yesterday. And this was by Frank. Did the most vocal complainer, right? Because I'm complaining. Now that I'm complaining, all I'm doing is I'm voicing my opinion about a mural that causes trauma, right? It's causing trauma to another neighbor's Black daughter. Come on now. This says, oops, the hubby calling me. Okay, so did the most vocal complainer ever talk with the muralist? This is the power of no. Okay, understand the power of no. Did the most vocal complainer ever talk with the muralist? According to Backpack, right? So now they're talking about me behind the scenes, right? So this is the muralist talking about me behind the scenes. According to Backpack, after 10 or so attempts, yes, I'm live right now. Okay, so sorry, my hubby loves me. Okay, did the most vocal complainer ever talk with the muralist? According to Backpack, after 10 or so attempts to make contact, threw in the towel and Backpack painted over the mural. I guess Backpack wasn't ready for the conversation. And he's correct. She wasn't. Because her first correspondence to me was telling me that I had to look at her as a human being before she would take it down. I had to acknowledge her as being human before she would take it down. Honey, I don't owe you anything. I don't owe you a thing. I don't owe you access to me. That's not your right. White people, understand that we, people of color, black people, we don't owe you anything. We don't owe you an explanation. We don't owe you an education, and we don't owe you access to us. We're exhausted. We're tired. You know, it's exhausting. And again, I'm not dealing with Republicans, guys. Black folks, I'm talking to y'all now. I'm not dealing with Republicans. I'm dealing with liberals. Okay? I'm dealing with liberals. And that's all I deal with. That's all I deal with. When you talk to a liberal about their racism, about their white violence, when you talk to a liberal about that, what you get is what I got yesterday. It's an absolute exposing of what's really going on. You are not in safe spaces. We are not in safe spaces, bottom line. And that's no longer white people's fault. I'm gonna go ahead and truth hurts, black people. Here we go. Here we go. This is not the fault of white people. Not anymore. Not today. Not today, Satan, right? Because we have $1.3 trillion in wealth in black America. $1.3 trillion, and it's only going to become more because unlike unfortunately the white population, we are growing, right? Like we are multiplying. We are, you know, so our access to wealth is amazing. It's what we do with that wealth that's the problem, right? We don't invest each other. We don't shop black. We don't do those things. And so I know that I speak a lot about this. I try my hardest to shop black. It's hard to shop black because there's not first of all, there's no registry, right? We need to get on that. We need to get on that. These are the things that we need to be focusing on and worrying about. Racism, that's the white man's burden. I'm sorry, it is. White violence, that's the white man's burden. And I say that with all due respect and love and admiration and concern and care for my white brothers and sisters. I do. It's a big uphill battle you guys have to fight because a lot of the times y'all gonna be fighting yourselves. You are. I know because I've been fighting y'all. I have, right? The loudest liberal who says Black Lives Matter, I guarantee you, does not give a shit about you. It just is what it is. It cannot be unseen. It cannot be unseen. And I'm telling y'all, black folks, do your pulse checks, right? Do your pulse checks. But be cautious when you do. Be cautious when you do, because when you do, it's like a, you know, every black person has their inward wake up moment, right? And I don't like saying that word. I honestly hate that word because I just think it's such a waste, right? But on that same token, right? The N-word is much like what happened with this mural, okay? Because the outrage has come from, how dare one voice be heard and this mural be taken down, says Paul Mosier, right? How dare it? That this is an atrocity. This is terrible. White muralists should be able to do whatever they want. What argument does that sound like? Doesn't that sound like when racists say, if black people could say the N-word, I can say the N-word? Doesn't that sound familiar? Again, guys, who says these things? Who says these things? The things that are being said to me and that I am witnessing and reading and seeing, these are said by racist people. They are. I made a post today that says nothing angers a closeted racist more than when a person of color is heard. Prove me wrong. Let's talk about this article, guys. Okay, so now I got interviewed by Gosh, one of the people says, just real quickly on this one again in regards to Paul. It's disappointing that your focus is still on your day being ruined instead of the BIPOC your post may have harmed. It's just it's. I appreciate the allies out there. I see y'all, man. Y'all are doing big things. Okay, but let's talk about this article. Let's talk about this article. Which was done by her. Let me get her name because she was amazing. She again, like I'm really proud of the news outlets that have reached out because honestly, you know, my voice is being heard. Like what I've asked to be put in these things was put in these things, and that's all that I care about, right? Because I need. It's been 5 years. It's been 5 years, and no one's been listening. Right? No one's been listening. I live in an up and coming, we love everybody neighborhood, but you don't though. You don't love everybody. You don't want everybody included. What you do want though is you want to appear that way, and you do, but not anymore. Not anymore. This is not a safe space for Black people or people of color. I was really proud of another Black woman. And again, these posts are all white people. They're all white people talking. Couple Latinos. I think a South Polynesian person was speaking. One black woman neighbor finally spoke up and was like, "Hey, no, sorry. This mural is offensive, and I think it's offensive too." And the reality is that again, Black people and what they're saying is like, well, why haven't other Black people spoken up? Because they don't have to. Because they don't have to. They don't owe you that. Black people don't owe you shit. They don't. And as soon as you can clock into that, then you'll be ready, Frank. Okay, let's just call a spade a spade. Then you'll be ready. When you can clock into zipping it up, then you'll be ready. When you can clock into understanding that this isn't my space to speak on. This isn't my place. Then you can be ready. I talk about white violence because I experience white violence every single day. Now, if you guys experienced Black trauma every single day, please, by all means, speak your truth on it. But you do not experience Black trauma. White people, Paul, Frank, you don't experience Black trauma. So what gives you the right to speak on it? One of the comments he wrote was like, well, how else are we going to get these crackers to learn? This is Paul Mosier saying this. How else are we going to get these crackers to learn if you can't paint murals on Black trauma? Here's a thought. Paint a mural on white violence. Oh, why can't we do that? Why can't we do that? Make a mural about that. Because that is something that you can relate to, like straight up relate to, right? Like that's right. That's a page out of a book that you wrote, right? Secondly, that's going to make the right people uncomfortable. It's all about that, right? If we're going to be doing art, creating art to invoke change and to evoke conversation, do it on white violence. Bottom line, there's more white people in this neighborhood than there are Black people. And yet you chose to do a mural on Black trauma. And when a vocal Black person who has the balls and the courage to come right into your white space and say this is terrible and just own it, then you have issue. Man, guys, it's like comical now. It's like really comical, and it's sad, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, absolutely embarrassing. It's like some of y'all are raising kids out here, and again, there it is. Therein lies the rub. Okay, if you like Shakespeare, understand therein lies the rub. I played Othello. No, I played I wanted to play Othello, but I played the father in was it Hamlet? I believe it was Hamlet. Oedipus, I think, or something like that. God, those are my college days. But therein lies the rub. There was a line that I said. Therein lies the rub. Therein lies the actual situation. That's what's really going on, right? Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. So, in regards to this article, done very, very well by Lynn over at the Phoenix Noon Times, she hit me up. She said, "Hey, I want to hear your story," and she stayed true with it. After an outcry on Coronado message board, an artist paints over her George Floyd mural. What I love about that title is this: outcry. That I think that's a bit dramatic. That's a bit dramatic. I think it was more like but I get it. You're selling papers, and that makes sense to me. I'm not angry by that, but it wasn't an outcry. I didn't beg for change, right? I just said I think this mural is a disgrace. No black people involved, and it's terrible. It's terrible. It's a terrible mural. The price of black lives, $20. Why not put Derek Chauvin's face on it, guys? Come on. Let's get real. Let's get real. Keep the mural. Put Derek Chauvin's face up there. By the way, Paul Moser, in one of his comments, referenced Derek Chauvin and said, "Point for Derek Chauvin." That's why he deleted that. That's why he deleted the thread. It's because you, sir, don't have courage. You, sir, don't have the balls. Nothing I've ever posted has been deleted, unless y'all deleted it. Okay, let's really get there. Let's really get there. Nothing I've ever posted, put out there, have I deleted. Why? Because I believe in what I'm saying, and I know what I'm saying is right. And I know it's right because it's making y'all uncomfortable. Boom. Okay. So now this article, beautifully written. Artist Backpack, that's such an interesting name. Backpack painted over her George Floyd mural in the Coronado neighborhood last week after a black community described the artwork as Black Trauma Mural, which it absolutely was. Okay, it was. I don't want to continue to see police videos on. Oh my gosh, I don't want to continue to see police videos on social media. I stopped watching those. I don't need to see it in my neighborhood, guys. I just don't. Specifically, if it's painted by white people. That is a celebration of white violence. And guess who's pissed off that the mural is down? Only white people. It's like this. The script is writing itself, guys. The script is writing itself. I'm not what? And guess who's speaking for black people and speaking for other people of color? It's white people. Well, my husband liked it. Well, where's your husband at? Where's his voice? Right? I see you're married to a black man, white woman. I see that. I get that. But where's his voice? And keep in mind, don't make him post anything because black folks are tired of dealing with this shit. We're tired. We're tired of dealing with this shit. I'm not though. I'm built for this. I'm built for this. And I do this because I know I talk to black people every single day. I know some of y'all don't. A lot of times in my neighborhood, the only interaction with black people that they have is me. I know that. Guys, I know that. So y'all got to wake up to what's really going on too. Just like I'm waking up to what's going on, y'all got to wake up to what's going on. Y'all don't even deal with black people. I see your pictures. I see your profile pictures. I see your group pictures. This is Coronado, nothing but white people. Maybe a Mexican. I get that. I get it, guys. None of y'all even interact with black people unless to debate me on the message board. Come on now. Y'all ain't ready. You're not ready. And it's okay. It's okay. That's the overall message that I think people are missing in my approach is that, yeah, this is not a safe space for black people. Do I feel afraid? No, because I'm not afraid of y'all. But I just know that black people who aren't as willing to take y'all on because they're tired and it's not their responsibility to take on white people, it honestly isn't. I know that they may not feel so safe. I always fight for the underdog, always. Okay. So what's interesting is that, how this has all come about has just been such a fantastic experience. And again, like I said yesterday, I sleep fine. One of the most interesting things is this. I mean, this is again, this is from Paul Mosier, and I only speak his name because again, this man has said my name, and your words need to go out, man. I want to elevate your words because this is what time of day it is. Okay, I mean, these are his words. I mean, that's not the intent. If I painted something intended to illustrate racial injustice and someone who already had experienced it said it hurts, it's from a white man right now, I would say, sorry, it reminds you of your actual hurt. But my intent is for others to understand what you have been through. I think the Merc does that very, very well. And I think that you are tough enough to live in an actual racist society, so you can probably endure an artist reminding you of pain with a mural if it makes your experience relatable to more people. Relatable, or does it normalize? Come on now. Y'all ain't ready. Y'all ain't ready. Okay, more people. How else do we win over the crackers? The mural can be turned away from. Reality cannot. Who you telling, baby? Who you telling? You're right. Reality cannot be turned away from. It can't. And me living in this neighborhood, knowing that it's not a safe space for black people because I deal with this, is a reality that I cannot turn away from. And it's a reality that you have yet to clock into, sweetheart. You haven't even clocked into it yet, boo. That's the real tea. So no, you're not ready, Frank. You're not. As I continue, a wall is not the correct venue for this work. But as artwork, I think that unsurprisingly, its intent is unimpeachable. God. And its effect is profound. To who? To who? What white person saw this mural and has said, oh my gosh, I need to do something about white violence? Not one, man. Not one, baby. And because that's not what the mural said. The mural's about black trauma. All white people are doing is they're saying, yeah, that's really sad. Man, it is sad. Black Lives Matter. I got my shirt. It is really sad. We do care about black people. We put up this black mural to show our black people that we don't give a fuck about y'all. Point blank period, queen. I'll continue, Mr. Mosier. Okay. It's not a rogue cop stationed in an alley. It should have been. It should have been. That's exactly what it should have been. Speak the truth. Speak facts. Speak to what you can relate to. White cops are killing people of color on a daily. Do a mural on that. Do a mural on that, Bookie. Go hard. Go off. Get crazy. Because the only people that's going to empower and show that, wow, y'all are really trying to take like y'all trying to do this now, are going to be your neighbors of color, right? They're going to say, damn, dude, white people are really taking ownership to the white violence. Maybe their change is happening. And the only people it's going to make comfortable, which is what you were talking about, right? Which is what you're talking about, Bookie, is the people who can do something about it. White people. Miss me with the dumb shit. Miss me with the dumb shit. Here we go. It's not a rogue cop station in an alley. It's in fact a mural protesting the death. No, it's not. No, it's not. Protesting the death of Mr. Floyd. It's not quite as rough as deciding whether I'm feeling strong enough to watch Schindler's List. I can just look at the opposite wall, right, baby? Because you have the privilege to do so. You were only proving my point, Paul Mosier, baby. You're an author. Okay, enough about him. Seriously, that's just really, really sad. Okay, so what's next? What's next is that Fox reached out to me. I'll leave it at that. So, know your worth, right? Know your worth, know your wealth, know your beauty, know your power. Just know, just know that know your surroundings, right? And the only way you're going to do that is by doing a little pulse check. Hey, I don't like the way you said that. Well, my intention is this. Well, I think this. Because that's who it's really about. And we can't be mad at that anymore, black people and people of color. We can't be mad anymore that white people who don't want to make change and don't want to listen. We can't be mad that is the expression that they choose. We can't. We can't, because they're going to be a minority in about 20 years. Okay, you're going to see that in your lifetime. I feel for my white brothers and sisters. I really honestly do. I feel for them. I hope that they get it together. I really do. I really do. But I think the rest of us are moving on, and I just can't keep saying it enough. We're moving on. We're talking about black wealth. We're talking about black joy. Cue the black boy joy is what I say. But we're talking about black excellence. And living our lives to the fullest and coming together. Man, I just want to shout out all my black people. Crystal, thank you so much for sharing the stream. I saw that she shared the stream. Thank you. That's what we need. When you see a black person talking, black folks, y'all need to listen. Even if you disagree with it now. But we got to be careful of what we're talking about, right? If they're talking about racism, stop listening. If they're talking about black wealth, you need to clock in. If they're talking about the black family household, you need to clock in. We need to clock in, right? If black people are talking about black on black crime, let's go ahead and clock in. Let's lean in. It's an uncomfortable thing, but if we are talking about it, we should be paying attention, even if it makes us uncomfortable, because that's what we expect for white people to do, right? If we cannot say to white people, we expect you to be uncomfortable. We expect you to lean in to white violence and understand that and to be talking about that. We cannot ask them to do that if we cannot do that ourselves, right? And I know that we can, because I see that we do it, and I see that we're doing it on a daily basis. So I think that's all I got for today, guys. It's a beautiful day out. I got a bunch of things we got to do. We have some wonderful events coming up this weekend. Subscribe to my channel on YouTube. I'm just going to continue to keep posting. I'm going to keep you guys updated on what happens with this neighborhood. Just as a great way to document the growth and the black stain, if you will, that was left on Coronado. And how they're going to deal with that. How they're going to evolve. Right? That's what it's really about. How are you guys going to evolve, Coronado? How are you going to do it? What are you going to do? What's the next steps? Are you going to be bold about it? Or are you going to be cold about it? Right? Or are you going to be fragile? Black folks, what's your next steps? What are we going to do? Are we going to be starting to talk about these things? Like really talk about these things? Really understand what time of day it is, really check our friends, check our bubbles, check our circles. Are we really going to be doing that? Are we really going to start really actually putting in the effort not to order on Amazon, but to join black groups, black business groups, and really just try to find what you need through there and really stay true to that process and building that, knowing that there's going to be hiccups, right? Sometimes experiences are not going to add up. They're not going to match, right? They're not going to be a top 5. But it is our goal to continue to practice with each other, to build that up to where it's like, no, we are the best. Because we are, guys. We're the best as far as I'm concerned. Period. People of color, we deal with a lot in this country. And we need to give ourselves a pat on the back for dealing with all that shit, White violence is an epidemic in America, and we just need to be more aware of the language that we're using to describe this. I saw some beautiful TikToks from Asian women, from native transgender people, from black people, from Mexican people, and it's all kind of the same message. Cultural appropriation that happens from white people. That's white violence, right? The disrespect towards culture that happens from white people. That's white violence, right? And it's not all white people. Y'all know that. Y'all know that I don't believe it's all white people, but it's not all Republicans. It's not all it's not all what the far right. It's not all right. Sometimes it's left. So it's been about 40 minutes. That's how long I like to go. My name is Kelvin West. Once again, 81 Degrees Kelvin on YouTube, 81DK. Okay, I gotta change it up, but 81 Degrees Kelvin, 81DK. Follow me on YouTube, guys, and stay black, stay beautiful, and say the N-word. No.
It sound right, boys.